Hello everybody, welcome to this weekend's Week 17 NFL selections, 5 plays, 2 5-star selections, and it's about time because the end of the season, it gets easier than earlier on, and by my record, you would think the complete opposite after I dominated the first 10 weeks or so of the season, going over 70%, and now lately I'm about 40%, which is really, really bad. But I got 2 games this weekend that are extremely amazing. I'll give you the reasons why they're amazing. Not just tell you. Look for yourself the plays you want. Try to get confirmation. If this is helping you, great. Let's get started. We'll start off with the normal plays. And there's 3 of them. And they're all AFC plays. A 5-star come in the NFC. And every game this week is division versus division. So it's going to be interesting to see how some of these games unfold. The first selection is the Denver Broncos game against the Kansas City Chiefs as Kyle Orton makes his return back to Denver. And quite frankly, that's a dangerous thing for the Broncos in a game where they need to make the playoffs. And they can still lose this game and make it if they get some outside help in the San Diego-Oakland game. But it's kind of scary seeing how Kyle Orton's coming in with so much momentum, so much reason for him to play a great game. Even though they're eliminated from the playoffs, they can still do some damage. And am I going to take Kansas City plus the 3.5? I am. And the spread is really, really big. I think there's even a good chance Denver wins this game straight up by 3, because when the Broncos were playing the Bears, the spread was also 3.5. And you know, I was really not liking it too much because there's a decent chance they win by 3. Let's just put it that way. And well, Kansas City's better than the Chicago Bears with Clay Haney and Marion Barber that game. It was most certainly a really bad Chicago team, and they still won that game by 3 points. And historically speaking, the Broncos find a way of really choking near the end when they pretty much have the playoffs wrapped up. It was about 4 or 5 years ago with Jay Cutler as their starting quarterback, who was playing the Cincinnati Bengals, and I can't remember the fluke job that won it, but it was within special teams and the kicking game. But all they had to do was play the 49ers, a terrible 49ers team in the last week, and beat them, and they're in. No, they didn't do that. 2 years ago, they started the season off 6-0, and with 3 games left in the season, they were 8-5. They had a 3-game lead on San Diego, who were 5-8, so based on those numerology, all they have to do is win or tie 1 game or have San Diego lose or tie 1 game. Well, going into Week 17, it was Denver 8-7, San Diego 7-8, and as long as San Diego won, they were in, and they were favored by like 12 or something, and it was the easiest play in the world to play San Diego that day, and they destroyed them. So there's 2 times they pretty much showed to get in. We'll see if it comes in 3. We'll have to wait and see within that issue. Next game is the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, over the last 4, 5, 6 years, I almost played the Jaguars every single time against the Colts, because when the Colts were good, this was that one arch nemesis team that just gave them difficult times week in and week out. And I don't know what the percentage that Jacksonville's covered against them. You can check for yourself, but it's pretty good. However, I'm not going to be playing the Jacksonville Jaguars in this particular contest, as Blaine Gabbert has been struggling extremely a lot. He's not that great of a quarterback, at least not in his rookie year, and I don't like his prospects as he goes into the future. But we have an Indianapolis team that's starting to play better. They're saying nobody sweeps us. Well, Houston did not sweep them, Tennessee did not sweep them, and I don't think Jacksonville's going to sweep them as well. The next selection is a under in the Pittsburgh and Cleveland game, and the over-under is 35.5. The wind is going to be a little bit of a factor, but not too grand, because it's about 30 miles an hour, 20, 30 mile an hour winds. But they'll be going from end zone to end zone. So the wind will either be on their back or to their face. That really doesn't make a major difference because, one, this can allow extra field goals or extra yardage field goals. Granted, Pittsburgh's field goal, Sean Sweezum's pretty bad. So there's another good reason for the under based on that one there. But with a normal kicker, if you could normally hit from 51 and you got 20 mile an hour winds to your back, well, now you might get 55 or 56. But the opposite could be true. With wind in your face, it's instead of making 51, it might be 46 or 47. So it can work both ways, and it all evens out, basically. But the Cleveland Browns have a very, very good defense against Ben Roethlisberger, who's suffering an injury. I don't know how good or bad he's going to look. He looked terrible against San Francisco. And even if he's the normal Ben Roethlisberger, Cleveland has hard time scoring. They do really well defensively, led by Joe Hayden as one of their corners. And because of that, I'm going to go the under and the total. Now the top two selections of the week. The first one is in New Orleans, as the Carolina Panthers are playing the New Orleans Saints, and the spread is 9 points for New Orleans. I'm going to be taking 9 with Carolina. And it's interesting because Drew Brees is coming off a Monday night game where he just broke the all-time record for most passing yards in the season, and he barely beat it. I think like 2 or 3 yards. I think it was like 2. But anyway, what happens if, say, it's a first offensive pass for Drew Brees, he goes to pass, say that he's got pressure coming in, and he's getting rid of it with a screen pass to one of the backs. He goes down, and let's say the running back Sproles or Ingram or somebody catches it, but gets tackled 4 yards shy of the line of scrimmage, thus a 4-yard loss. And let's assume Brees gets injured and can't return. Well, guess what? Dan Marino's got the passing record still. Because if he was up by 2 or 3 going in and he loses a 4-yard pass, then he's going to be down by 1 or 2. So that would do it. Now, that's probably not going to happen, and that's not the reason why I'm taking Carolina. However, St. Louis in this game will be playing San Francisco, and if San Francisco wins, it's a completely meaningless game for the Saints. And they'll be scoreboard watching. They'll see around 3, quarter after 3 in the afternoon Eastern time. Oh, look at the box score. Yeah, it says that St. Louis is losing to San Francisco 31-10, so yeeks, I don't like our chances now, and there's a good chance they just might even rest their starters into the fourth quarter within this matchup, but it goes even deeper than that, because the whole psychology of coming off a Monday night game in itself, a win of course, is big enough, but then to have the passing record to be secured that game, to be playing a game that really is meaningless, thus they know the playoffs are ahead, is really big for the Carolina Panthers, a team who's really playing well, showing that, hey, I mean, this is the first year of this project of a dynasty. That's what should be going through their mind. They got their quarterback in the future of Cam Newton, a guy who's going to be drafted in the first round of many fantasy pools next year. The guy's an amazing quarterback. He's good for a touchdown run almost every game and a touchdown pass or 2 every game as well. This offense is very good, and I think they can give the Saints a really good showing, not only on the +9, but even on the money line. That's very good vig on your favor. There's a decent chance they can take this game outright as itself, because Carolina, they know it's like their Super Bowl. It's like a bowl game. It's like all these, like the Music City whatever bowl, where you got like Toledo and Idaho in college football. Yes, it's a terrible bowl game, but it's your final game. You want to make a statement. That's what I'm seeing with the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, Panthers. I was going to say Hurricanes. That's hockey. Go Habs, go. Anyway, now we got the final game, which is the Green Bay Packers against the Chicago Bears. And this is mainly a weather play. This is the first weather play of the year. And the weather for this game, there's chances of snow. It doesn't matter if it's going to snow or not. It's only a bonus if it does. The wind is about 30-35 miles an hour is the forecast. It was about yesterday when I did it, which is Friday. Today's Saturday. Yesterday it was about 29-30, so it's being upgraded a little bit. And the winds will be going from sideline to sideline, and that's the worst ones for these types of games, because it'll be hitting one side of your face when you're going down the field, which is very difficult for field goals to kick balls. They have to just play around a little bit within it. But we also have Matthew Stafford, who is a dome quarterback. This is the first time he's ever played in the month of December in the National Football League. So there's no previous games to look at to see if he played these cold weather games. He played in the SEC, the Southern East Conference College, so he didn't play in cold weather stadiums in there. So I think this is his first cold weather game. And not only that, but what I like about these types of weather situations, I think it's pretty certain that Matt Flynn and the Green Bay Packers practiced during this cold weather, thus they should be ready for. and Detroit practices indoors. So I think they're going to have a difficult time handling this situation. Aaron Rodgers is probably only going to get one series. Yeah. I hope it's a field goal or nothing on the first one, because you can very easily get a touchdown. But there's no reason to play your starters the rest of the way. Now, it's not officially announced as of the recording of this video that the starters are going to be rested, but through the articles that I have read, the historical information that I have seen, and just looking at logic, it doesn't make sense to me at all to see that Rodgers to even play the second series, let alone into the second half. And Matt Flynn's a good quarterback, so there's a lot of opinion play even within the side as well, with Green Bay plus the 3.5. Now this is a big game for Detroit because they control their own destiny for the 5-6 seed. And you really, really want that number 5 seed over the 6, because if you get 6, you're probably going to New Orleans. I don't want to go to New Orleans. They're damn good. But you get number 4, you're going to either New York or Dallas, the winner of the Sunday night game. Well, it's still a difficult challenge, but it's easier than New Orleans in my opinion. So that's why I think it's important for them to go out and to win that game, but I don't think they're going to do it. We might see Detroit fall to the number 6 seed with Atlanta winning their game, and I think they're playing Tampa, I think. But it's not. I don't like the chances of Detroit here. I'm not going to play the 3.5, although I think it's also a good selection as well. But it's based on the starters of Green Bay not playing. It's based on Detroit really not being that big of a cold weather team. The wins, the fact that the total is not even below 40, it's at like 44, that's the big reason for that play. Alrighty, finally we're going to move into the playoffs next week, and I'd like to take home underdogs in the first round of the playoffs. It's almost a guarantee that I do every single time. It wins quite frequently. Now, Houston's going to be the number 3 seed. Number 3 seed. And they'll play Cincinnati or Oakland, or they'll play Tennessee, the New York Jets, one of those teams. I wouldn't be surprised, other than maybe Tennessee, if the Texans are actually underdogs in that game. And more so within the AFC West, because it's going to be either the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Baltimore Ravens heading out to play either the Denver Broncos or Oakland Raiders. I'm going to say this right now. The AFC champion will be an underdog next week. Thus, I'm going to take either Oakland or Denver to cover that particular contest. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a happy new year.